go.
All right, we are here. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Gonz Sports Talk, where not only we talk about Ravens, we talk about the whole NFL. And speaking of the whole NFL, what a week. Man, I don't even know where to get started. But before we get started, Gonz.
I'm doing wonderful, thank you. This has truly been a free agency frenzy, and I can't wait to talk about it. These last 3 or 4 days have been absolutely insane. Honestly, it started back on Tuesday, so maybe we could stretch that out to the last 5 days. But it's just been crazy. So many teams have made moves. So many things have been shaken up. And I'm already excited for the 2024 season. It's going to be crazy with all these changes, and it's awesome. But I'm doing good. I'm ready.
Nice. Man, and like you said, it has been a week. It's looking like Madden out here. Like franchise mode is going crazy right now. I mean, you got players leaving franchises you never thought who would leave. QBs going all over the place. I mean, the running backs going off the market on day one. Like there's so many things to talk about. There's so much to discuss. I feel like we're gonna be here all day for you guys. First 24-hour stream on Domandgon Sports Talk.
Nice.
Well, all right, let's start off with the big
That
ones
was a
here.
joke, everybody.
No, not 24-hour stream, not 24-hour stream. But yeah. So let's address the biggest. Obviously, we're gonna mention our one big signing this week on Tuesday around 12 p.m. It was announced that the Baltimore Ravens have signed King Derrick Henry to a 2-year, $16 million contract worth up to $20 million with about $9 million guaranteed. Obviously, that was the signing that Ravens fans have been wanting for a very, very long time. Eric DeCosta even confirmed that they tried to trade for Henry last year before the trade deadline. That did not work out for some reason. FU Titans. But just so happens, doesn't matter. Henry lands in Baltimore with Lamar Jackson. Gonz, first thoughts.
Well, y'all already remember from the last episode, I really like Derrick Henry, and I really wanted him on our team, especially with Gus Edwards leaving in free agency, somebody we thought we would sign. He went to the Chargers on a 2-year deal, so that opened up the door for the Ravens to bring back a power back, and boy, did they bring in probably the best one in the league in Derrick Henry. So I absolutely love the signing. Derrick Henry just bowls people over. He's got some low-key wheels. He can run. He can move. If he gets in the open space, even at 30 years old, I feel great with him coming on board. I can't imagine how defenses are going to prepare when Lamar and Derrick Henry are in the backfield together. That's going to be so much fun. I absolutely love the signing. The Ravens never, ever, ever signed premier running backs, ever. So this is the first time they've actually gone out of their way to do that. They've been rolling with in-house talent, undrafted free agents like Gus Edwards and Keaton Mitchell, who are not, no disrespect to them, but the Ravens never do this. So this is a first for Eric DeCosta and this Ravens franchise. Because they just don't really sign premier free agents at all, usually. So this is one of the biggest names we've seen in a long time, I think. And take it what you will. It looks like the Ravens are changing their philosophy just a little bit. So we'll see. But I love the signing. I expect him to just go all out this year. This is going to be Derrick Henry's team in the backfield at RB1, providing a nice mix-up to Keaton Mitchell and Justice Hill. I absolutely love the signing. I'm excited. I can't wait for the season. I think that Derrick Henry could give us that opportunity to get over that hump and make it to a Super Bowl, because there will be no excuse not to run the ball now in the playoffs. So we'll see. But I love it. I know you're not so sure about it, but I love it. You guys know I love it. I'm a Derrick Henry fan. He single-handedly took us out of the playoffs in 2019. Single-handedly ripped the Super Bowl out of our grasp by himself, by running and throwing. So now he's on our squad 5 years later. Let's go get one, Derek. Let's go. King
I
Henry,
don't
baby.
I don't hate the signing. I love the fact that we have Derrick Henry. Don't get me wrong. Like he's one of the better backs in the
Mhm.
league. Him and Lamar just open up the offense for the whole team. My whole thing about Henry is that I didn't want us to put all of our eggs into one basket as far as like having to fill the holes of the whole team. And I'm saying like I didn't know Henry's contract demands or what money he was going to want. I mean, 2 years, about $20 million worth of a contract. I mean, I guess 10 million a year. I guess you could say almost, depending on incentives. I mean, that's not too bad. We get 2 full years of Derrick Henry. I'm not mad at that at
Compared
all.
to Saquon
Yeah,
Barkley's
yeah,
contract, I
Saquon
will
Barkley's
take that.
contract was huge. Yeah, I mean that was huge. But it's just that for me, it was just we have so many voids to fill, so many voids, and it was just like we need corners real
We just need
bad. Like I was
one.
right now, we have two that I know of. Like, I mean, like we need corners real bad. We need offensive line. I'm guessing they're going to look towards that for the draft because this is a really good offensive line draft. So that should be fine. What else do we need? Receivers. I feel like we need to make another move at
Just
receiver
one.
or
One
something.
more.
Just one to put us on the board for something. Like there's some things that we need to fill, and I know that. I mean, when I saw that all the dominoes were falling so early in free agency. I mean, like signings were just like everybody's getting signed left, right, left, right. I was like, all the offensive linemen were gone. Like, all the receivers were either getting re-signed or moves haven't been made yet. But that was my hindrance with the Derrick Henry trade. It was just like I just didn't know if putting the money into Henry would have been worth us not filling these holes. Now, obviously, there was still time for us to make moves and all these things. I mean, we restructured Ronnie Stanley's contract, which is nice. We traded Morgan Moses, which is a interesting move to say the least. So obviously we have time to make moves, which is fair. But I love the fact that we have Henry now. I know I haven't shown much enthusiasm for it, and that's because again, money and making more moves. But I love the Henry signing. I think it's beneficial for the team. He's going to open up the offense for all of our receivers because the teams are going to trying to figure out if Lamar's going to take it himself or if Henry's just going to run everybody over in the process. So
Or
that's
play
going to be fun to
action and
watch.
throw it deep.
Or play, yeah,
Yeah.
or give the ball to Henry to throw. Like I don't know. Like obviously we can mix
I
it
love
up
it.
with Henry in the offense, which makes it perfect for us. But that was my only hindrance towards the Derrick Henry signing. It was just, will we have the funds and what is the plan to fill out the team? Because we have had a lot of losses and not a lot of gains. So I'm just trying to figure out what's the moves here going forward.
Well, they're going to get somebody. I mean, they wouldn't be doing all this restructured deals if they weren't going to get somebody. So I think they're going to get some. They always do this. They always wait for free agency to die down a little bit, and then they make their moves. But this year they did sign Derrick Henry on day 2 or 3. I forgot.
Yeah, day two.
Day 2. Okay, so that was different. But now they're going to make their classy move where they wait for it all to die down and then go get somebody, whether that's signing somebody or making a trade. We'll see. But I don't expect Eric Costa to be finished, so we'll see. You also mentioned Did you mention edge rusher? I think we should get.
Oh
Clowney.
yeah. Edge rushers. Thank you, because I completely. It's so funny. I was so in on edge rushers last year, and I completely forgot to mention it this time around. We need
Clowney.
those.
I'd like Clowney back. That would be fine with me. I know Dom was talking about potentially getting Joey Bosa or Khalil Mack, but they both restructured contracts and stayed with the Chargers.
I was so upset about that. Like, why do you want to stay? Why?
Because they got
LA
Jim
weather?
Harbaugh, so
I mean,
that's
yeah,
why
I guess
it might be
that's
different.
fair.
If it was
That's
Brandon
fair.
Staley, I would get it. But now that they have a new coach, there's a chance maybe for some hope.
I have no one to throw
Now,
to, though. There's no one
as
to
for
throw
wide
to.
receivers, what you could do is you could sign one of these vets for cheap. I would rather do that. I think that we don't need to draft another rookie. We got Zay, we got some youngsters back there.
Who do we go after?
I think we could go after a couple people actually. First one being maybe a cheap contract for Mike Williams, a big bodied wide receiver who's got great hands, and if he stays healthy, he could be relatively good, pretty solid and pretty decent. Good compliment to Zay Flowers and Bateman, and Aguilar. Don't forget about him either. So I think he has a definite chance for to be on the Ravens' radar right now, especially at the price that we could get him for. I don't think he's going to get that much money because of his injury history, but I think they could give him a cheap 1-year prove it sort of type of deal. To see, well, not extremely cheap because he's really good. It won't be some, robbery, but it's similar to Odell Beckham's last year, but not that expensive, but also not very cheap. Just a 1-year deal, prove it, see how you do. That would be fun for the Ravens, I think, because I think he's pretty tall too. Go get Jettas, Jason. That's just not going to happen, dude. Not happening. Sorry to crush your hopes and dreams, but that's just not happening. Gosh, can you imagine Jefferson and Derrick Henry on the field? Oh my God,
that would actually that's a Madden franchise with the salary cap off.
Yeah,
that'd be insane.
Anyway, that would probably be my best person to get, Mike Williams.
I have a proposition for you, and it's to get another receiver to bring a Maryland man home. I propose a trade.
Okay.
I don't know if they would do it. I highly doubt they do it because they are the conference rival. A third and a fifth. A third and a fifth for Stephon Diggs. Who says no?
No. Okay. I would like that too. I would love that.
I think at that value, a third and a fifth. We have 9 picks in this draft.
But are the Bills looking to trade Diggs?
I don't know, but he's with all the social media controversy that he's been having like this past day and a half. I don't know what he wants.
Really? Okay.
But I'm just saying, he's been with the Bills for 4 years, and for each of those years, they have not lived up to the hype. Like at some point, he's gonna be like, "Listen, man, I'm almost 30. I'm trying to win. What are we gonna do about it?"
I mean, that would be pretty damn good if we had Diggs.
I mean,
Zay Flowers, Mark Andrews, Derrick Henry, Isaiah Likely. Diggs is looking to trade Diggs. What? Is that a typo? Okay.
But yeah, I mean, like a third. I wouldn't mind giving up a third and a fifth for Stephon Diggs.
Hey, if Eric DeCosta make it happen, I wouldn't either. I like that.
Keenan Allen just went for a fourth. And he's coming off one of his better seasons. I would give up a third and a fifth for Stephon Diggs. I think that would make us good. But I agree with you.
Well, I don't see the Bills. The Bills also. Well, they did sign a couple people. They got Curtis Samuel or somebody.
They did sign Curtis Samuel,
but because they also lost Gabriel Davis to free agency. So they only have they've got that Shakir guy, Curtis Samuel, and Diggs on the radar right now.
Yeah.
So they don't have too much going on there. They have some speed. Shakir is pretty fast, and so is Curtis Samuel. Diggs is going to be their sure-handed guy. So I don't know if they're going to trade him unless they're looking to do a full rebuild at the wide receiver position. So I don't know. Do I think that's going to happen? No.
You saw how many cuts they had to make just to get cap compliant. I mean, they almost cut the whole daggone team
on defense
just to get to get the cap, just to get to the cap. So I don't know, but I mean, if that was a move we can make, and if the Bills have their phone on and want to talk, I mean, I don't see why not. Stephon Diggs is a Maryland man. He went to UMD. He played for UMD. I mean, why not? I mean, shoot, if we're gonna go all in, why not? I mean, we tried to go all in last year, but I mean, why not? Why not now? We have a little bit of money.
I would love it.
So
another guy looking to be traded is T. Higgins on the Bengals. Now, I think that's also just dreaming on, for Stephon Diggs. Jason, that's old news, bro. We remember that. Jerry Jeudy to the Browns. I don't care.
I feel like that's not really a total, needle mover. I don't know why the Browns even made that move, but that's neither here nor there.
They always trade for wide receivers. But yeah, anyway, back to T. Higgins. That guy on the Ravens is another person I would absolutely love. And I know it's blasphemy, and I know because you don't never trade with your division rivals, and I know it's not going to happen, but if they could make that work and get T. Higgins in here, oh my Lord, that would be scary because he's one of those Mike Williams type of guys. Go up and get it, extremely good hands. Got sticky glue on his freaking gloves. I mean, the dude is just absolutely insane. So if we can get a wide receiver like that, just a bigger type of guy with good sticky hands, that's what would make me feel amazing about this wide receiver group going into 2023. So Mike Williams, which is probably the most realistic out of the three we've talked about, since he's
So
he's a free agent
actually a
currently.
free agent. Yeah, he can
Yeah.
sign anywhere.
Yeah. Yes, Jason. I agree. Yep. Diggs would be awesome, and so would T. Higgins. I think the order between the most realistic scenario to the least would be Mike Williams, Stephon Diggs, and T. Higgins. I just don't think there's no way T. Higgins is getting traded to the Ravens. No way.
Yeah, no. Even if we asked for what the
Mhm.
Bengals wanted, the Bengals would want all of our houses. They want us to mortgage everything just because we're a division rival. It's just the
Yeah.
pettiness, and when it comes to contract situations.
And it's
But I'm
different because Jason says there's no such thing as loyalty in football. That's true, I believe, when it comes to free agency. But when it comes to trades, us calling the other guys, nah, I don't think we just have it in them. There's been very few times where the Ravens have traded with our divisional rival. The only one I can think of is when we traded Chris Wormley to the Steelers one time. That's it. And that wasn't even like a blockbuster trade. That was just a whatever, get out type of thing.
whatever, get out.
So yeah, while I agree partly with that statement, Jason, I think it's different if they're a free agent versus somebody on the squad already. But yeah, come on, Eric DeCosta, make it happen. But that's just one need that Dom talked about. I want to respond to his other one about cornerback. Well, Kendall Fuller is taken off the board. That's somebody we've been talking about recently.
That's somebody I was really hoping we would try to offer him a contract of some
he
sort.
got 2 years for the Dolphins,
yeah,
I believe.
at 16 mil.
Yes, so good pickup for them. Now, is he going to be that great? I don't know. He's getting on the later side of 28 or 20. Sorry, so close to 30.
30. Yeah, about to hit 30.
But solid signing. He should be good for them because they still have
he's a
Jalen
really
Ramsey.
good corner. Yeah.
So who else is on the board then? Tre'Davious
White.
White. But again, he's rehabbing his Achilles. I
understand that too.
As
but,
much as appetizing as that sounds, I don't want him. I don't want somebody coming in who's rehabbing an injury. I need somebody who's ready to go. Now, if he's ready to go for training camp, go ahead and get him. But if he's still going to just make his way back on the practice field slowly but surely, maybe miss 4 games of regular season, no, I don't like it. I mean, who else is out there, Dom?
I'm trying to see.
Laptop.
Yeah, I'm trying to look here, but I know he was big. He was like one of the bigger players left. Xavier Howard.
Okay.
One.
Oh yeah, as Jason's right on cue with that too.
Xavier Howard, Adoree Jackson.
Really? He's still not signed?
I don't think he's signed yet.
Okay.
To my knowledge.
All right, so there are guys out there.
There are some decent guys out there. I just need us to make one. If we could just pick up one corner, I'm okay with that. I feel like we could try to find depth. Yeah, we could try to find the rest of the depth in the draft. That's fine. But I just feel like we need to fill out at least that position at least once. Oh yeah, Jason to Sean Murphy Bunting is also available, who is still a free agent. Let's bring in Gilmore. Stephon Gilmore is also a free agent. There's some just pick up one guy on a 1-year deal, right? And and we can fill out the depth in the draft. But I feel as though either that that's a position I feel like that or receiver. I feel like we can look for offensive line in the draft. That's fine. But I feel as though we need to pick up at least one corner or one receiver that's left on free agency that will help us make a mark on the team.
What about what's the status on a couple guys? Because I'm seeing a couple names on here that might be interesting to us. What's the status on Chidobe Awuzie for the Bengals?
Oh, shoot. I do not know if I don't think he's signed.
Is he still a free agent?
I think he might. I don't see any reports that he's. Oh, wait a second. Titans. Wait, hold on. Is this true? I think he's signed with the Titans.
Let me see. Chidobe Awuzie signed with the Titans. Let's see.
Yeah, the Titans agreed to terms with cornerback Chidobe Awuzie.
Okay.
So he did sign.
Kendall Fuller
Kendall
signed.
Fuller is
What's the
signed.
deal with L'Jarius Sneed also?
Sneed is currently on the tag. I know the team has given him permission to request the trade,
Uh-huh.
but so far, obviously, the Chiefs are going to play hardball with this because Sneed, one, is their best corner. He's still a dog. And two, like, I don't know if they're going to, because they just extended Chris Jones, I don't know if they're going to have that money to sign him. So, he's on the tag, so he's going to have to play for them either way. But that relationship might get a little frosty if, they can't get a long-term deal done. Because he's also been on social media when it comes to like, oh man, I don't got my long-term deal yet. What's going on? What's popping right now? Like, so and I don't know if the Chiefs will trade us Sneed, but boy, if I'd give up a second. You know what I'm saying, for Sneed?
Oh, yeah.
If need be, I'd give up a second for Sneed. Well, I doubt it though, but that's just me. As far as other guys, like I said, Adoree', Sean Murphy-Bunting, Stephon Gilmore, Trey White, like there's some good veteran corners still left on the market that I feel like we could get one for a 1-year deal and we'd be good, honestly. And we could try to fill out corner in the draft. Like maybe we get like another corner in the draft to really like make it stick.
Yeah, let's get. I would stay away from Tre'Davious White. Let's go ahead and get one of those guys. I'd be down for Adoree' Jackson. He might be cheaper. Or if they can find a way to get L'Jarius Sneed, that would be insane. I just don't see that happening. Sean Murphy-Bunting is currently signed with the Arizona Cardinals, by the way.
Oh, so he did sign.
Yeah, he did sign.
All right.
Mm-hmm. Same for Kenny Moore from the Colts. He re-signed.
He did re-sign. Yeah, that was like a 3-year deal, I think.
So yes, there's a couple corners left, and that's probably
a good amount.
Adoree' Jackson is probably the best one, because all these other guys. Well, Stephon Gilmore, I keep forgetting about him. So yeah, one of them would be fine, Gilmore or Adoree' Jackson, for 1 year, and then we draft another cornerback for insurance.
And I think I'll be just fine with that. I would literally be just.
Don't forget about Brandon Stevens in the fold too. So
absolutely, exactly, absolutely. So that we have Marlowe. Yeah, absolutely. We have Marlowe, we have Brandon Stevens. I say bring in one vet corner. Don't have to be perfect, of course, but a good vet corner, great awareness, great ball skills, and then we can pick up a good prospect in the draft, help develop them. I mean, we should be fine. I mean, we got great safety help with Marcus Williams and Kyle Hamilton. So I mean, the ball's in our court. We just have to make a move.
Let's do it. We got time.
We do have time.
Yeah, and I'm like we said earlier, Eric DeCosta's for sure cooking something up because, like we said, nobody's just going to restructure a bunch of contracts usually if they don't have something in mind. So I expect something to happen within the next 2 weeks. I think. So we'll see as we inch closer to the draft. The draft will be in what? Beginning of May or end of April?
I think it's end of April.
Cool. Well, that'll be fun. We're excited to do round 2 of the draft on Dom and Gun Sports Talk too, because that's when we started our channel around that time last year. Well, actually around this time, free agency, March. But anyway, yes, sir. I'm hyped for it. Let's see who we get. Let's get a wideout and a corner, and then I'll say it was a successful free agency.
Absolutely. I agree.
Now,
100%.
to handle your last concern before we talk about the rest of the NFL, offensive line. I think they're going to slide one of their in-house people into guard. That's probably going to be Ben Cleveland. They're going to give him a shot. So there's 3 out of the 5. Ronnie Stanley, Tyler Linderbaum, and Ben Cleveland. That leaves the left guard position. Or they could you could put Ben Cleveland at either one. Probably, I think he's a left guard. That's his true position.
We also have Voorhees coming off of injury. So
that's true.
He'll probably play a big part as well.
At tackle, maybe, or guard. I thought he was a tackle. He's not a tackle?
I think he's a guard.
Okay.
I believe he's a guard. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So expect him to maybe get a shot too. This is a big training camp for these guys. And we'll see if that happens. So that just leaves the tackle position. Right tackle. Who are we going to get somebody? Going to make a trade or go to the draft?
I think
you said it was a good draft for the O-lineman, so you could see maybe a second or third round pick on a tackle.
Honestly, and I do agree. Now, honestly, when it comes to this, Like, if we address corner and wide receiver in free agency, then honestly, I feel as though this leaves us with potentially using our first round pick maybe on an offensive lineman. Now, I'm not
Ooh.
saying this is gospel here, but if like corner and receiver are addressed in free agency, like if we get like 2 1-year deals for both positions, then I think the offensive line, like the prospects in the offensive line that are really good this year, because I know a lot of them are probably going to go probably maybe the first 15, first 20. I think if we just use our first round pick, I think I'd be okay with using our first round pick on an offensive lineman if that means that we address those other 2 needs in free agency. Because again, like Olu Fashanu, he's going to be gone. I'm guessing he's going to go probably top 10. And that's just my estimation. Joe Alt will most likely be gone. I'm guessing he's probably going to go top 5. Maybe to the Chargers. I don't know if they address wide receiver because they have no wide receivers. So maybe they address receiver in the top 5. I highly doubt it because Joe Alt, I hear, is a really, really great prospect at tackle. So they probably go offensive line. But yeah, there's so many great offensive line prospects here that I would not be surprised if the Ravens use that pick 30 on a prospect, like on an offensive lineman. So if those are if those are things that are addressed, I'm okay with that. But I mean, there's so many directions we can go, and a lot of the free agents, offensive linemen are gone. Like they were gone like the first day and a
Yep.
half. So who knows?
I am fine with that. Now, yeah, just sign the rest of these guys in free agency and you'll be fine. Now, do we have enough money for 2? I'm not sure. But I don't think that the Ravens need to get a wide receiver in the draft. I know a lot of people are saying they really need to. I mean, they've got younger guys. Now, if they can get this vet, sure-handed, sticky glove vet, get yourself a T. Higgins or a Mike Williams or a Diggs or somebody like that, then you're fine. I don't think you need to draft anymore. You still got Zay, you still got Bateman, you still got Aguilar, you still got Tyler Wallace. And you know what? I'm sure they'll probably draft one, probably in the late rounds. So, but I wouldn't expect them to use one of their picks early for a wide
I
receiver
think
like they did last year for Zay.
I think the wide
So,
receiver. I think the call to draft for a wide receiver really comes from like the fact that we don't really have like another wide receiver like long term. I
mhm.
think because I think Bateman's option is coming up. I don't know if it's this year, but I know it's pretty soon. And we just drafted Zay, so he's on contract for at least another couple of years. But I mean, after that, we don't have a lot of long term guys. So I mean, are we like this? Also comes into the question: are we going to re-sign Bateman? Will Bateman get
This
an
big
extension? Like,
year, and I
this is
think
a
that's
big year
what
for him.
I think they're not going to sign somebody because they want to see how he goes with a much bigger role. Um, another possibility is they don't address the wide receiver position and they roll with who they have. That's also a possibility. Who's going to slide into wide receiver 1, Bateman or Zay? And then Aguilar would be 2 or 3, depending on who wins the starting job. That's also an option. Is that what I'd rather have? No, but we've seen this before. Start of 2022, you thought they were going to sign a big wideout, and they didn't. And they let Bateman take wide receiver 1 in week 1, and he got to a hot start and then cooled off and got hurt and was out for, I think, the rest of the season, wasn't he? With the foot.
Yeah,
So that's another option that they could choose to roll with. I hope they don't, but that's something we have to consider as Ravens fans. But we'll see. We'll
yeah.
see.
It could go either way. It
Expect
can
a
honestly go either way.
big opportunity for Bateman this year because they are really going to see if we do want to resign this guy or not. I don't know. At this point, I really don't know.
I think this
Um,
just starts with. I think in this offseason, I think the one thing that Bateman and Lamar needs to focus on is regaining or reestablishing their chemistry, because
mhm.
I just feel as though it was really off last year. Like I didn't really see them connect. Like there was some overthrows, there were some miscues
The
on
deep
like a
ball,
lot of
yes.
the deep
The
ball was just not
crossers were
working
fine.
between
He
the
would
two.
find them on the crossing routes. That was cool. But you got to get those deep route timings
Like it was just,
down.
yeah, the connections just aren't there. So
Mm-hmm.
I feel as though this offseason, I'm hoping that because I know Bateman's good. We know he's good. Like we've seen flashes of him being really, really good. It's just the fact that now we have to be able to use him to the best of his ability. And that's, getting him more targets, getting him more involved in the pass game. Because honestly, I feel as though if you're a corner guarding Rashad Bateman right now, you chilling for real, because I feel as though he's not really getting those
That was
targets. So like,
disrespectful.
yeah, like I'm just for real. I'm just being real, and it's not
No,
it's
I'm
not
kidding.
him. I'm not saying it's him. I'm just saying like he's not really getting the ball. So like they have to build that chemistry, and like for him to be dangerous, because we know Zay is gonna get the ball. We know Andrew's gonna get the ball. We know Likely has established himself as a great option to get the ball. We've seen that, but we have to like get that back with Bateman. Like we have to, because like if you don't have that chemistry with him, why is he out on the field? Like he's
Right.
just out there doing cardio at this point. So they have to reestablish that connection. They have to get back to being able to connect on not only just the short intermediate throws, but those deep passes down the field. Because I'm not gonna lie, I think some of those deep passes last year could have been touchdowns.
Maybe,
Like
yeah.
those were some missed touchdowns down there, because Bateman had his guys beat a lot of the time. If you like go back and watch some of those games, Bateman had most of those guys beat. He did, but like the connection just wasn't there. So that has to be big. It's gonna be like you said earlier, this is gonna be a big year for Bateman. And I hope it's a breakout year for him.
We shall see, and keep you guys updated and posted as we approach that season. That season's going to be great. 2023, cannot wait.
It's gonna go
2024,
crazy.
sorry.
2024 is gonna go
Yeah.
crazy.
I think we should go ahead and start talking about some of the other things, though, that happened around the NFL. There was more Ravens stuff to talk about than we thought, wasn't there? Let's talk about some of these. I don't know where to start. There's so many things that happened. Like everyone changed positions or teams. Let's start with the NFC East. I can't believe Saquon Barkley he signed with the Eagles. That was unheard of. That's unbelievable. I think they got rid of DeAndre Swift too, right?
They did.
So,
Swift, I believe, signed with the Chicago Bears.
can you believe that? And then the Tiki Barber tweets and all
Going
that
back
on
and forth, yeah, I did see that.
yeah. And then shoot, the interdivision additions by these teams were crazy. I mean, AFC North had some. I mean,
Dude,
Patrick
we
Queen
lost
to the Steelers,
Patrick Queen
Geno
and Geno
Stone to
Stone
the Bengals,
to our ops.
and then Lamar said, "You're dead to me." To Geno Stone, that joke, that was funny. But there's gonna be I expect these division rivalries this year to have a little bit of extra pep when we play them, especially with a lot of these Ravens defenders on the opposing defense. I can't wait for Derrick Henry to run over Patrick Queen, and Patrick Queen to struggle in pass coverage like he always used to. That's the one thing about Patrick Queen. I'm not going to talk crap on Patrick Queen because he was really good last year. He was. But the way to beat Patrick Queen is you throw it at him. He will not. He doesn't play the ball too well. He struggles mainly in zone coverage assignments, I think. Where he exceeds in is blitzing, tackling, and stopping the run. He's really gotten better at wrapping guys up and not letting them go anywhere. That's the Patrick Queen that the Steelers are hoping they're going to get. I'm hoping they get the 2021 Patrick Queen that drops every interception and doesn't know how to play zone coverage. That would be great. So we'll see. But I expect Derrick Henry to run his ass over.
Yeah,
2 times.
I was highly upset when I saw when I got the notification that he had signed, because I was like, "Dang, bro! Like you could have went anywhere else and I would have been okay, but you went directly to the ops. Like it wasn't even like a curve to get. You went directly to the ops. I was like, dang, man! Like if you would have went,
He got his bread.
He did, and if you would have went to Seattle, I would have been like, you know what, that's fair. Seattle could be a contender this year under new coaching leadership. So that's fair. But I got to give it up to PQ. He did, like, the time he gave us in Baltimore was really, really great. Especially last year, him and Roquan being seen as the best linebacker duo in the league last year. So you can't really just like let that go over your shoulder. Like he was just phenomenal last year. It's really unfortunate he had to go. But I mean, he got his bag, like you said.
We knew this.
Not surprised.
We
knew it was coming. We knew it was coming. Like we knew that we were going to have some casualties on this team, and we knew unfortunately he most likely was going to be one of them. But
Yep.
like you got to when it comes to this business, you got to do what's best for your family. You got to feed your family at the end of the day. And he got a really great contract, 3 years, $41 million. Like you can't really sniff at that.
I hope
You can't
he has
argue with that.
garbage years. I hope he stays healthy, but I
I
hope he has
I hope
garbage years.
he's successful and healthy, but I hope the Steelers go 0-17. But
Fair enough. Yeah.
I feel that's fair. I have a great career, Patrick. Thank you for what you did in Baltimore. I hope you stay healthy. I hope you put up great stats. But I hope the Steelers have the worst season
Not
in
even
history.
that. Not even that. Because then when he was asked about
Oh
that, I forget what his
yeah.
response was.
He
What
said
was
he
his
wanted.
response?
He said he was what? He said he can't wait to play it.
Oh,
He
he
can't wait to be
wants to
that
be the
villain.
villain. Yeah,
He wants
he
to
said
be
he
the
wanted
villain.
to be the.
Yeah,
I'm
he can't
sorry,
wait.
dude. I'm sorry. I want 25 missed tackles each season, and I want 80. I want 12 dropped interceptions. That's what I want.
Yeah,
So then we can have the irony hit us.
the irony hit us.
Uh,
And then Gino
yeah.
goes over to Cincy. I mean, again, Eric DeCosta addressed him as like our best 7th-round pick like ever. And I mean, boy, he lived up to it. I mean, he had 7 interceptions last year. Like he played phenomenally, and he earned that contract. I think he got like a 2-year, over $10 million contract. Gino, I mean, thank you also for what you did for Baltimore. I hope you also have a healthy, successful career. I just hope the Bengals also go 0-17.
I hope he drops 8 interceptions this season because that means Lamar's not throwing any.
Ain't that
Yeah.
the truth? But yeah, man.
Sorry, you're on the ops now. I can't root
You're
for
on the ops, and that's the thing. Like, if you were not on the ops, we would root for you. Like,
Not
don't
for
if you were in the
can't do it.
NFC, if you were in the NFC, that's fine. We're rooting for you. We love you, but you went directly to the ops. It's hard to sit here and root for you when when we got to play you twice a year. It's hard to do that. It really is, but it's fine. Like, again, you have to feed your family. This is a business. You got to do what you got to do. I don't know if we offered them anything. Like, to my knowledge, I don't think we even offered PQ. I think the Ravens were probably set in stone on probably wanting to either let Trenton Simpson work, or I don't know. But you gotta thank them for what they did for the team, because I mean they were part of a historical defense last year. Like, our defense was historically great last year. So you got to give that credit to both of those guys, because they were big contributors to that.
Yeah, and we have more to say on the AFC North because those teams also got shaken up a ton, Pittsburgh and Cincinnati. But real quick, I wanted to address some of the other big things. You were talking about the Bills, how they were just cutting people left and right. Poyer, gone. White, gone. That defense is going to look a lot different next year, especially without Jordan Poyer, who also, like one of our people special near and dear, went right to the ops and signed with the Miami Dolphins. So you are going to see them twice a year. So I feel like there was more interdivision moves this year than I can remember, honestly. Like, this is absolutely ridiculous.
It is petty
Barkley
season.
going to the Eagles. Bills defenders going to Miami. I mean, it's just absolutely insane. Like, Dane Jackson, a cornerback from Buffalo, signed with Carolina. I mean, they are losing a bunch of people in that secondary. What about Taron Johnson? Was he a free agent, or did he leave, or is he still on the team?
That I'm not entirely sure.
Let's see.
I believe
Whatever.
he's still on. I believe he's still on the team. Yeah, he's still on the team.
A lot of shaking up things going on in Buffalo, I think. And then they lost Gabe Davis, too, one of their most established receivers.
Lost him to the Jags,
yes,
which was a very interesting signing by the Jags.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's pretty crazy. Who else big that I'm missing?
Can we talk about the Titans? Like,
yeah,
briefly,
there we go.
Quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
The Titans, they're an interesting team right now, and I only say that because they just signed. So they already have D-Hop. They had D-Hop. First year with D-Hop was successful for him, I should say, because he still had 1,000 yards and he had like multiple different quarterbacks. But I mean, they're looking like a little bit of a better team than they were last year. I mean, they beefed up more on offense. I mean, you have D-Hop. You now have Calvin Ridley, who signed a 4-year, $92 million deal which is like, and I did not know if. No, I'm not saying this Calvin Ridley's a bad receiver, but you gave 92 million for a 4-year deal. Calvin Ridley's 30 right now.
Yeah.
Like that's a big investment. I mean, I guess the Titans had the money to spend, but that's a big investment, on in your receiving core. So I can respect that. So now you have D Hop and Ridley on the outside with Traylon Burks. I'm sorry.
That's
With
solid.
That's pretty solid. Like you got route running and you got sure hands. So I mean,
And
I
you
can
have
respect that. And
Will
also,
Levis entering his second year.
right, and he had a pretty decent year last year.
Mm-hmm.
And you also give Will Levis some reprieve because you signed Tony Pollard, decent running back. Now, mind you, he didn't have the greatest year last year. But I mean, maybe with the offseason and some recovery, he could be better than he was last year. But you have Tony Pollard and Tyjae Spears in the backfield. So you give Will Levis a little bit of like breathing room with a good running game, at least a solid running game. You sign Kenneth Murray to a 2-year deal. He's okay. I mean, it's a decent linebacker signing. And then you got Mason Rudolph to back up Levis. So, I mean, it's very – oh, yeah, we just talked about Chidobe Awuzie. So then you also are trying to tighten up the secondary. So, I mean, the Titans are looking pretty decent. I feel like they could try to compete for the AFC South. I feel like the AFC South is definitely – I'm not saying it's going to be an AFC North level competition, but I think it might be up there with competition because that whole division is making moves
The
right now.
Texans make moves too.
A lot of moves.
And I forgot to also say back to the Bills, Micah Hyde also is a free agent as well. So they
market?
Yep.
I thought he got signed. Oh wow, okay.
It still says he's on the market. So both of their starting safeties are gone. 2 of their starting corners are gone. I mean, their secondary is razor thin. I guess it's DeMar Hamlin time, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, a lot of teams are shaking up. I can't wait to see how this pans out. I just hope the Chiefs don't win the Super Bowl and it's the Ravens this year.
Please.
So we'll see. What was the other team that I wanted to talk about a little bit? Yeah, real quick, Houston. They got Joe Mixon from the Texans in a bang trade that kind of happened out of nowhere. We knew the Bengals were going to release Joe Mixon, but then there was a plot twist, and they traded him to the Texans. So I don't know who the Bengals have at running back, so they might need to get a running back.
Zach Moss.
The Bengals signed Zach Moss? I thought
they did sign Zach Moss.
Okay. Fine. Cool. He was the old Colts running back. And then whatever happens to T. Higgins, the Bengals might have a different look to them next year. And Tyler Boyd's a free agent too, right?
He is a free agent. They have not re-signed him.
Yeah.
So he's not on the team right now.
Yeah, so he is also an option for could the Ravens snatch him on a 1-year deal? I don't know.
I mean, maybe.
We'll see.
Maybe. I mean, he's a pretty good receiver if you leave him open, but
yeah.
I mean, we'll see.
So yeah, the Bengals have a chance to look extremely different too. Like there's just so many what ifs going on right now. And yeah, I'm ready to talk about Pittsburgh whenever, but do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, the Bengals are an interesting team. I'm not going to speak too much on them because I know they still have a lot of decisions to make. But they're going to be interesting coming into this year because, mind you, you have to sign Chase, right? So his contract is coming up. You've already had Burrow extended, so that's already done in the water. You signed Gesicki to a 1-year deal. Pretty sure-handed tight end. He's definitely not terrible.
The Bengals did?
Yes, Gesicki did sign with the Bengals on a 1-year. So you have a good tight end with sure hands. Terrible gritty though. I hope Jamar Chase helps him with that. But you got to sign Chase. So I'm thinking like, what decision do they make? Because I feel as though if they have the money, like what do you do? Do you re-sign Chase? Can you get them both back? Because obviously you're probably not going to re-sign Boyd. You would have did it by now if you were going to do it, right? So at this point, like it's going to be tough. Like you said, this Bengals team. Will they be able to still contend? Because the AFC North is only still getting better. And I can say that about us too. Like, are we still going to be able to keep up? Because the AFC North is just getting better. And I just don't want us to sit in the water. But, like, even if they don't get better, they're going to play us tough either way. But as far as the Bengals are concerned, you're right. They could look completely different than they have in the past couple of years. And I'm hoping that leads to their downfall. Sorry, Bengals fans. It's not personal. It's just
apologize.
It's the win. But yeah, it's just like it could look completely different. But yeah, I'm ready to talk about these Steelers because what? Like, what are we? Go ahead, just kick it
Well,
off. What are we? What's the big news?
the biggest headline going into next season was, is Kenny Pickett the guy? And the Steelers responded to that by signing Russell Wilson to a 1-year contract. Okay, at 35 years old, nothing special. I don't think I think Russ needs to retire soon. He's just not himself. Struggled in Denver, although he had some pretty numbers. They just weren't winning. Like the big games that matter. Russell Wilson looked like crap. Last year they played the Texans, much needed win, and fell flat through a pick in the end zone and lost. Detroit Lions needed to win that game, blowout loss. I mean, they just, so say what you will about the stats and stuff. When it really mattered, Russell Wilson did not show up. And then we already know what happened the year before. Russell Wilson's first year with the Broncos, just absolute trash. So are we excited about that if you're a Steelers fan? Yeah, I guess they are, because the Steelers are going out of their way to do something different than they normally did. Signing vet quarterbacks is not what they did. To be starters is not what they're used to. They've had Roethlisberger for 12 years or 20 years or however long he played. I don't know. Since 2005 was when he was drafted, or 6. So not 20 years, but he was their starting quarterback for at least 15 years, 16 years. So that's not what the Steelers are used to. So it was portrayed that Russell Wilson would stay or would start, and Pickett would not. Pickett would back him up. And then when Pickett heard about that, he requested a trade. Then they got rid of him. They traded him away to the Eagles. So that pretty much ensured that Russ is their guy going into next season. And they traded him away for garbage picks. What was it, like a 5th-round pick, 6th-round pick?
It was a 4th and 2/7.
Okay. So nothing special, in my opinion. That was pretty much a deal to just get them off of their chest. And then the Steelers turn around and trade. What happened yesterday? They traded for Justin Fields, which assumes the 2 things now. The Bears are going to keep the number 1 pick and get Caleb Williams and give Russ some cop. So I don't know what they're doing in Pittsburgh, but it is a complete, not coin flip, but, they're just completely flipped the table. Now they've got 2 completely different quarterbacks than they had last year. Who's going to start? Well, Dom said probably Russell Wilson, with a backup Justin Fields. I don't know, man. I could see either one of them starting. You just don't know. I think it's going to depend for the offseason, who performs better in training camp and preseason. So preseason, we'll get a first look on those 2 guys and see who's going to be the starter, I think. But yeah, Pittsburgh is shaking things up completely. And not to mention, they also traded away Deontay Johnson to the Carolina Panthers and received Dante Jackson and a higher pick, I believe. I think it was like a pick swap they did. So Steelers get another defensive back to add to that defense, and they trade away one of their wide receivers. So that pretty much assumes they're going to draft another wide receiver with one of their early picks, right? So we'll see. I don't know. So all they got right now is Freiermuth, George Pickens,
Van Jefferson.
Say again?
They also signed Van Jefferson.
They did sign Van Jefferson. So, yeah, take it away. What are the Steelers doing?
Man, here's my thing. Multiple insiders did confirm that Russell Wilson will get the start week 1. I mean, even though we haven't even gotten to training camp yet, they said Russell Wilson will be the starter. As much as I hate to say this, and trust me, I hate to say this, the Steelers are making good moves because, and I mean like money financially wise as well, because you're paying Russell Wilson $1 million this year, $1 million. Like, let's be real, Russell's probably going to the Hall of Fame. I mean, he's a champion. Let's not get it twisted, but you're paying him $1 million. And then you got Justin Fields for a bag of chips and some now and laters, and you're paying him $3 million. So you have one of the better quarterback rooms in the league, cheaper quarterback rooms in the league. First, you can't, like, business wise, you gotta give credit to that, because that's just good for their future financially, and that just secures them long term. Now, my thing is that when it comes to this quarterback stuff, trust me, I don't want this. The Steelers fans do not sit here and quote me later. What if Russell Wilson has a good year? You know what I mean? Like, if Russell Wilson has a good year, what does that mean? Like, do the Steelers sign him? Not saying it's going to be a long-term deal because, again, he's over 30. And like you said, I mean, he could be,
He's
close to one to be a –
He
yeah.
turns 30 in November. There's no way he plays another year, I think.
Yeah, yeah. So, well, Rodgers is still playing. He's damn near 40. But but still, like, what if you get him? Like, what if he has a great year and he's like, dang, man, I kind of like this success. What if we go out and, like, what if we run it back? I'm not saying that's probable, but it is possible. Like, because, Russell Wilson is a huge upgrade from Kenny Pickett, Mitchell Trubisky, and Mason Rudolph. Let's not get that twisted either. He's a huge upgrade. Now, weapons-wise, you lose Deontay Johnson to the Carolina Panthers. I'm not going to lie. Last year, he didn't really look like he even wanted to be there the way he was acting. So, I guess that's fine to get rid of him. You got he's probably wide receiver 1 now. You got Van Jefferson. You got Calvin Austin III. You got Pat Freiermuth with Najee Harris, with Jalen Jalen Warren, running back out of the backfield.
Trash. No, I'm kidding. All right, I'm sorry.
You got some guys back there who can help out either quarterback. So, I don't know really. Oh, I forgot too that the Steelers also signed Deshaun Elliott, so he also went to the ops.
Oh, yeah.
It's a sad day for Ravens. But yeah. So as far as most of that things, I don't know what the Steelers' game plan is, but I'm not gonna lie. I have to say that the moves that they're making financially are really good because you're not even paying either quarterback that much money this year, and you can secure one of them for the long term. That's great business. But as far as who's going to start, I believe it will be Russell Wilson. Rappaport, Schefter, they're all saying, they got insiders saying it will be Wilson starting this year, barring anything crazy happening, knock on wood. But as far as the Ravens-Steelers rivalry is concerned, it's going to be very interesting to see Russell. I feel that every time we play Russell Wilson, we are pretty successful. My thing is that with Russell Wilson in a Steelers uniform, that might change things because Tomlin just knows us so daggone well. It's ridiculous. But I don't know. But the Steelers are making moves and they're trying to be competitive. They're going from the different style of quarterback now. They're trying to revamp this offense, and it's very interesting to see how they move long term.
They're going 9-8. And they're going to make the playoffs and get blown out first game. That's who they are.
I was also a repeat of last year.
And that's who they will continue to be until they get rid of Mike Tomlin or they make some major moves. Because they're just – I get quarterback changes are major moves, but I just don't see them getting much better. I don't. I really don't. Do you?
Like I said, it's an upgrade. I will say Russell Wilson and Justin Fields are an upgrade to the QB room. So I do think they got a little bit better. Obviously, you lose a great receiver in Deontay Johnson, but he didn't want to be there anyway. So at that point, quarterback-wise, you do get a little bit better. And I think you have a quarterback now who can, galvanize the team better than those other quarterbacks did. Because I don't really feel like –
Arthur Smith is the OC. Is that a great move?
And we're talking, isn't that the same coach who barely utilized Bijan and Kyle Pitts? Yeah, I don't know. I know Mike Tomlin won't be playing all that. He's not going to have that.
He just cares about not going 8-9. He just wants to go 9-8 to keep the streak going. So they haven't given me any reason to get really scared. Yes, they made some smart financial moves due to their short, restricted cap space, and they don't have a lot of money right now. So yeah, they're being smart with it. But are they really going to be? Can this team compete with a Super Bowl?
I'll give you.
No.
Yeah, currently constructed. I do not think they are a championship team, but they can compete. I will say they can compete
for that number 7 seed. That's what they. But now, you've got other teams who are trying to step up too. Tennessee, like you said, and some of those other AFC. Houston is still there.
The whole AFC
Miami
South is going to be. The whole
Buffalo's still
AFC South is going to be
around.
very competitive.
Kansas
I
City
don't think Miami got better though.
Chargers trying to make a step up. I don't know. I
The
mean,
Chargers.
and the
I'm not scared of
Jets
the.
with
I'm not
Aaron
scared of the.
Rodgers.
I'm not scared of the Chargers until they make another move for a receiver. They have nobody to throw the
Well,
ball to
we'll
right
see
now.
how the Jets are with Rodgers at quarterback. I mean,
Finally, about to say, so he went down last year, unfortunately.
Patriots, no, but it's a crowded AFC. I just don't think, and they play in one of the most toughest divisions in the entire league of the AFC North. Ravens have Derrick Henry. That is the recipe to beat Pittsburgh. It really is. For a team that we can't beat, that is the recipe to beat them. Wear them down with the run, and they won't be able to stop you. Russell throws some picks. It's easy dub. But anyway, yeah, I don't think that they're even close to being a contender.
Yeah, I think that, like I said, they'll
I'm a
compete.
hater. I just don't think they are.
Like they'll compete. Absolutely, they will compete. But as far as
They
like
always
contending, yeah, always. But as far as like being a championship team, not yet. Not yet. They still have to establish a culture there. The culture has not been established there for them to really be a contender just yet.
Justin Fields becomes the starter and he plays well. He has a chance to be their quarterback for a long time because he's young. But if it doesn't work out and they're back to limbo, because Russ is not going to be there long, trust
He's
me.
not.
You're kind of back to square one with right after Ben retired. So I don't know. Yes, they're making moves, but what if they don't work out? Then you're kind of screwed.
Yeah. It's going to be very interesting to see how they move going forward. But I mean, they are set for this year as far as quarterbacks are concerned. So
Yep.
I guess they'll worry about that future stuff later. But yeah, I mean, as far as the AFC is concerned, all the moves that were made, I mean, it's getting frosty. It's getting frosty out here, and some teams got better, some teams got worse. Like I said, some teams I'm just not scared of right now. Like Chargers, I'm not really scared of. We play them this year, so it's going to be interesting to see how the Harbaugh Bowl turns out. I feel like the Jacksonville Jaguars they had some decent signings. They're going to be a decent competition this year. Let's see, anybody else? The Browns. I mean, we talked about Judy. They did re-sign Zadarius Smith to a 2-year deal, so he's going to remain there. Jameis Winston did sign as a backup. I wanted to make sure I remembered that he did resign. But yeah, I mean, the AFC is shaking up to still remain the toughest conference in the NFL. Because the NFC isn't doing. Oh wait, wow! Before I even get into that, there's still one major thing we forgot to mention. And I know that you're probably going to love this one. How you feeling about Hollywood to the Chiefs?
That's a good signing. That's always a good spot for garbage wide receivers to go to the Chiefs, where Pat Mahomes can make them look like gods. So yeah, I hate to say it, but it's a really good move. I mean, he brings this much needed speed to the Chiefs.
He's an upgrade. He's definitely an upgrade over MVS.
Oh yeah.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, they're both similarly not that good. But the Chiefs just find ways to win with these not so great wide receivers and turn them good. And so, yeah, I love the move. If I'm a Chiefs fan, I'm happy about it.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting because I was like, oh, I almost forgot Hollywood was on the market. As I kept scanning over free agency, and then I saw him on there. I was like, oh shoot, he's signing with the Chiefs with Mahomes. Like it with that Andy Reid offense and the way they're great, they're known to innovate and get guys open. I mean, if he could stay healthy, that definitely could be a problem this year. I mean, Mahomes is going to give him the ball, no doubt about it. But I thought that was a very great signing for the Chiefs. I think they got a really good one. Please don't sign anybody else, Chiefs. You don't need anybody else. You're fine. I'm also saying that as a hater because I hate that you guys won last year. But I think the Hollywood signing was very very good for them. Now I feel like we need to make a move because when they make a move,
We will.
like, dang it, we need to make a move.
Nope.
Like
we're gonna get a corner and a wideout. We'll get them.
I hope so. I hope so.
I really.
I wouldn't mind getting younger in the offensive line. That's why when we traded Morgan Moses, I was like, I didn't like it at first because his durability is one of a kind. Like he played almost daggone near every game, like literally. Like if you needed Morgan Moses, he's there, and that's what I loved about him the most. He was this really really solid tackle. I was really upset to see him go, but I mean, getting that extra pick plus well, not only did we get an extra pick, we move up in the 4th round as well with that pick, and we get an extra pick on top of that. So, I mean, I was okay with it if we're getting younger at the offensive line. We talked about it multiple times, getting younger at the offensive line, and we talked about Morgan Moses potentially not being on the team this year. So, and I guess the Ravens pulled the trigger on it with a trade to the Jets. And the Jets needed O-line real bad. I mean, especially because last year they played so bad. And they addressed offensive line. I mean, they signed – wow, I just realized the Jets have 2 of our guys because they have Morgan Moses and they have John Simpson.
And they
So they signed
signed
2
Tyron Smith, one of the best left tackles.
Yeah, ever. So they knew offensive line was an issue, and they addressed it. They very much so addressed it. So I got to give a shout out to them trying to protect Darren Rodgers this year. I respect it. So, yeah, man, this week was
bonkers.
Bonkers. Just absolutely
long
bonkers.
Show. Oh, my gosh. We went over an hour.
Yeah, I know. It was just so much to talk about. It was so much to discuss. And I feel like we barely even touched on, like, everything. But, yeah, guys, it's been a heck of a week. There's still more time to go. There's still guys out there. I mean, again, there's still some things we need to address. Still some things that, I mean, there's still some positions we need to address, some things we need to worry about in the future. But I think we just go into this week hoping that we have more Ravens news because we need it. We definitely need somebody else. 2 more signings, please, and I'll be okay to go into the draft.
Perfect.
But other than that, man, any final thoughts on the things we discussed today?
No, this was fun. I think we hit everything that we needed to. Ravens are, like they said, we need some more news. I'm happy about Derrick Henry. This is going to be a fun season. Now let's run him down, or not run him down, run down his opponent.
Please don't run him down. No, don't run him down. Please.
Yeah.
Keep him good. Keep him good.
Run him down the throats of our opponents. How about that? All right, there we go.
I like that one.
All right, cool. And then Dom, we need to get some guests on here. We need to start.
It's about time we start talking to people about how their teams are addressing free agency, how they plan to look towards the draft. We're gonna work on that too to get some of you guys' thoughts and opinions on your teams, and what do you want? Like how is your free agency going for your team?
Mm-hmm.
How are you gonna go into the draft? I mean, it's great to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions on that. So we definitely plan to do that moving forward.
Yeah.
So but yeah, I mean, I love the Derrick Henry signing. Hopefully we get more news this week. I could use it to appease my worries, and we'll be good. But guys, if you enjoyed our hour-long soliloquy, please don't forget to drop a like, comment, subscribe, all that fancy jazz. We're going to try to remain more consistent dropping these for you guys because we love talking. We love talking sports. We love talking Ravens. We love talking football. So we're going to try to stay as consistent with this as much as possible leading up to the draft and going into the preseason. But yeah, again, thank you guys for always watching our content. We really appreciate it. Please don't forget to share it with your family, friends, co-workers, your second cousins, your third grandmas, all that fancy jazz. We will try to get back at you guys next week, hopefully with some more news heading into the week following. Again, this is Dom. I'm Dom. I'm Dom. That's Gonz. We will see you guys next week with another episode of Dom and Gonz Sports Talk. Thanks for joining, guys.
See you guys. Let's go Ravens.